You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger now.
You're connected with support. How can I help you?
You're picking up the phone pretending that you want to help people, but you really want to rob them.
I want you to understand, legally and federally, I know what type of time waster you are.
Do you want people to empty their bank account?
Why would you waste my precious time?
We call scammers. And man, they say the dumbest stuff.
Go ahead, please.
Hey, do not call this number again. Okay?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Take.
Yeah, good morning.
But you sound about as cranky as I feel. What's up?
Well, I
with
was
us
trying
today?
to just trying to get to your level. I was in a great mood.
Thanks. I know how to bring people down.
No. What's going on?
I'm just working. How's everyone else doing today?
Not working here. Well, not on a real job anyway. But it's very admirable that you can put so much time into that job. I'm impressed.
No choice about it. We have to survive. Good morning, Asha. We all
What's
have
up,
to do,
Omar?
You have to do things in life we don't want to survive. I'm sure the
That is true.
cavemen thought the same thing. Like, man, do I seriously have to skin another buffalo? I just did one last week.
Well, yeah, everyone's got static.
Yep. So what's new with you? I saw your video yesterday. It was a good one.
I liked it. It actually did better than the one I put out on Sunday. The one on Sunday I thought was good. It's just different, but I think people like when I'm yelling and funniness. But those vitality people or Max Erect, they just call me all the time. No matter how much I mess with them, they call me back. So the number's just in their system. So I figured I would put out the Doodle Dasher growth. The woman was promising me 10 inches. So I've never had that. I mean, that's really far-fetched. But I figured I would put it out on Sunday. I would squeeze it in because usually during the week I put all the nonsense to the call centers. But anyway, it didn't do so well. But it happens.
Well, thank you so much, David Bryan. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. What up, Whiskey?
Yep, that's the world of YouTube. It sucks.
Yeah. But it was I in the past couple of days, it's been tough, to be honest. I mean, I had a pretty long PCH call, which, wasn't the most entertaining, but I kept the guy on the phone a long time and had him going around the grocery store. My mom liked it, and it's hard to get a laugh out of her. So
yeah,
we'll see. What up, Addie? Oh, good to see you.
Does anyone else notice that recent
What up, Microsoft?
Recent celebrity news has gotten even worse? Like, I tried to type in celebrity news yesterday because I was going to look for some interesting things to discuss today. And the stories that come up are just like who cares? Like, the first one that came up was Jennifer Aniston and ex-husband share a hug. Literally, that who cares about that? That's not even juicy or interesting. Do you think it is?
And there's people that just know that that's their news. That's what's even more sad than the actual news itself. There's so many other things going on in the world right now, and that's big news. Jennifer Aniston gets a hug.
Yeah, from her ex.
So, good morning, Zeb. Yeah, I definitely could use those pills. But I live above a music store, and you don't see too many music stores. I have a pretty big building, and there's a lot of shops underneath me. But there's a guy who runs a music store where you can go in there and you can buy vinyl and CDs and stuff like that. Small time. Mm-hmm. But he's an older guy, and it's kind of a cool store, and it's vintage stuff in there, and there's Neil Young posters and stuff from the 70s, and then he's got a lot of new stuff. But the other day I went out at 5 a.m. to get a Pepsi, and the line around my building, I've never seen that many people lined up. They were camped out. They were sitting on the sidewalk. They were just having a good time. It was like a big party on my block at 5 a.m. on Saturday. Do you know why?
No, why?
They were there for the Taylor Swift release of her new CD.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
I had no idea she was that big. I had no idea.
I thought maybe it was they thought there was a TAGOW media meet and greet or something.
Oh, well, let me tell you, that's part 2 of the story, because I made sure every single one of them knows to sub to my channel. But I think I lost 2 subs that morning. So I think somebody was already subbed to me, and they said, "Oh, you're that guy?" And they desubbed. But Taylor Swift, not only I guess she's big, but how big do you have to be for people to wait in line these days to buy a physical CD? I mean, I didn't think people still did that. You can get everything online, right?
Yeah, Taylor Swift is the kind that like has some hardcore people that love her, and then she has some hardcore haters.
Does she have an OnlyFans?
No.
Then I don't like her yet. I'll wait till she gets washed up and does an OnlyFans.
There you go.
What's up,
I
Rabbit?
don't think that's gonna happen. She's got plenty of money. She should be all right. So
You never can have too much. She could probably make, $1 million a minute on there.
but they say that her new tour is supposed to be cool. Like in the tour, she dives under the stage and like swims under the stage. It's all like special effects, but it's supposed to be cool.
567, that's pounds, right? Vicky and Willow's Metallica tickets are so expensive now. I know they're expensive in the States, but yeah, I don't think they're coming, Zeb. I don't think I'm getting anyone to wait in line then.
Yeah, I just typed in Taylor Swift and hit news. And, some things about her tour came up, and then it was like, did Joe Alwyn cheat on Taylor Swift? I don't even know who that is. So I guess that's how old I'm getting.
You typed in Taylor Swift news or news?
Yeah. News. With the
News.
WS.
Okay. I was going to say, have fun with those pop-ups that you're going to start getting and all the history.
But right now, if you would like tickets to see Taylor Swift in Atlanta, they are $724 each.
Oh, what's up, Blindly? How much?
$724.
Yeah, people in the chat are typing a lot of stuff. I mean, it's my understanding that most concerts are expensive these days. I think I was talking to Pecan Head 6 months ago. He was going to see the Eagles, and the tickets were, crazy amounts of money. Back when I used to go to concerts, like I saw Metallica open up for Ozzy. I think it was like 1987. I think the tickets were $30, and that was a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Now you're talking almost $1,000 for bad seats in a lot of these venues.
Yeah, that's for the
Terrible.
bad seats. For the floor seats, they're $1,909.
Oh, are you going to go? What's up, Mr. Murphy?
Sure. Why not? Can't even pay my bills, but yeah, let's go see Taylor Swift, who I only like on a scale from 1 to 10, probably like her like around a 5.
I just was amazed that she had that kind of fan base that would camp out in a not so great neighborhood to get a CD.
Hey, Zeb, that's a great idea. We should start filming the morning scam show like in front of a live audience, and people have to get tickets. How many people do you think we would have in our audience each show?
46.
In person? I think only 10% would come in person, so we'd end up with like 4.
Well, we have to do it. We have to start small, like at a dive bar.
Yeah.
We'll just, like O'Grady's pub or something like that. We'll just sit there and, we'll make calls from the back table.
Yeah. We could start flying scambaiters in to interview live, but I think they'd probably make us pay for their expenses, so I can't afford it.
Oh,
Thank
sure.
you, Rob and Mouse. Thank you so much.
Sure. And so it's me, you, and Joe would be there. It'd be me, you, and Joe Bleasy.
And Zeb. Zeb said he would come. So.
Nice.
That'd be fun. I'll do it.
Anytime. We can meet halfway and do it in Manhattan.
There you go. That is halfway. If you count New York traffic.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be like another COVID outbreak. and then the streets of Manhattan are like a ghost town.
Yeah. I also saw in the news that Chinese gangsters, which I didn't realize those existed, but were arrested for a fake gold scam.
So that makes sense, and I'll tell you why. The Chinese have a very there's a very dark underworld there. The triads, like if you ever like just search gangsters, like obviously people know the mafia in the United States or in Italy. And then we had I think Microsoft certified trainer was telling us about Axe in Africa, triads, and then you have Yakuza in Japan. The triads are no joke. I mean, it's a serious organization. I don't know if that's the exact gang you're talking about, but I know of the triads. You don't mess with them.
I mean, but Chinese people just seem so small and sweet. How can they be gangsta?
Well, there's a lot of Americans that are small and sweet, right?
I don't see too many of them.
Well, yeah, because you're here all the time, but...
True.
I mean, who wants small and sweet when you can have big and mean?
True. I also saw that in India there was a liquor policy scam. Let me see more about what it was exactly. So in India, they charge 4 people, including former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, in the Delhi excise policy case, blah, 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 a bunch of names. So I don't know, it's not very long, but I guess the point of it is, like, they'll go after some policy scams, but they won't go after ones that are stealing from old people, you know?
They got to pick their battles, I guess.
I guess. Let me see if I can find out more about this. I could ask Peter, like, what's a policy scam?
I mean, if it's a policy scam, that's in writing, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It's a policy. So I think it's probably easier to prove, would be my guess, that it's a policy. And if people are doing business or doing something and there's nothing in writing, then that's on them.
It alleged that beneficiaries of this policy diverted illegal gains to accused officials and made false entries in their books of account to evade detection. Okay. Well, what about all the call centers that are evading detection? They're just...
Yeah.
That's how it is. The people at the top, like, oh, let's get these people arrested because they're targeting people at the top, or they're getting money somehow and giving it to people at the top. So I guess it's good they did something, but still, I wish they would do something with all the other scams too. You know?
You know, it kind of, when I was binge watching our guest videos, he'll be on a little while, Ronnie Rants. He does a lot of work in Nigeria, or I mean, I don't know if he's there all at all, but he deals with a lot of romance scams. Like that's his forte of scam baiting. I just posted a link to his channel. He'll be with us hopefully in the 9 o'clock hour. But one of his videos, he's talking about Nigeria. I mean, it's known that there's a lot of corruption there, and it led me to like do a little bit more research because obviously we all know that some scams exist in India because the call centers get busted, they pay off the police, it's corrupt or whatever. Yeah. There's corruption everywhere, but we always think of India as being more corrupt than other places. When you Google the 10 most corrupt countries in the world, Nigeria or India does not show up in the top 10.
Right.
So it's amazes me, though, that you don't hear about scams coming out of Sudan, out of all the other places that are on that list. I'm sure that there's people there that will scam you, but you don't see anything like an organized call center popping up that I know of. Or you don't see like a gang of people doing romance scams. And my hypothesis would be Nigeria is a pretty rich country in Africa compared to the rest. And so is India. India is the 5th largest economy in the world. People are smart. Right. They're educated. They have stuff, and it still makes it, I think, tastier for these people to scam because they're smart enough to put something together, and at the same time, the jobs aren't paying. It's almost like they're not living in the 5th largest economy in the world, even though they are. You know, right. But going to school for all this time and paying all this money and coming out and getting a job where you make $200 a month, it's not appealing to them.
Right.
So it kind of made sense that after I did some research that, you know, the more developed countries are where these scams are taking place.
Yeah.
That are still corrupt and backwards in some of their policies. I could be wrong. Sure. It's just, you know, I don't have my calculator, but I was just doing some research and I was like, wait a minute, I never heard of any scammers coming out of Sudan or you know, Congo.
Well, part of that might be because we're biased with scam baiting, because scam baiting does only target, like, I mean, we have Whiskey Scambaiter who goes after some different scams in different ways, but the majority of scam baiters go after a certain type of scam because it's easy to stream and stuff. So that might be affecting our view of scams, you know?
It could, yeah. But I would still guess that there's, you know, billions of dollars going into India because of scams, and that's just from the United States. I mean, somebody can tell you how much they scam out of Australia each year, and England, and all the other countries, Germany. I don't think that much money is going into the Sudan or Congo from the types of scams that we know. There could be other things, but not that much, would be my opinion. I don't think they're just that organized.
I agree.
But then again, what do I know?
You know all about doodle dashers. You're an expert.
I know that you can take a pill twice a day for a month, but on the second day, you're going to wake up with 10 inches of growth.
That's really scary. Like, where does all that skin and flesh come from, that one peel?
I don't know. Somebody had once asked me a question. They said, okay, you could lift a baby cow, and if you lifted a baby cow every single day, would you be able to lift it when it's a full-grown cow? Like, when do you stop being able to lift it? So it was almost like that. So what happens? You wake up one morning and you can't lift a cow, or you wake up one morning and you're just stabbing people with your doodle dasher? Like, I don't get it. How could that happen overnight? I blew up at her at the end of the video. If anyone makes it to the end of the video, I let her. When she told me it was being recorded, I said, okay, now what can you do differently next time if you want to sell somebody?
Yeah.
Of course, then I get comments about you're making somebody a better criminal, but come on. It's a joke.
Right.
If you're going to take lessons from me on how to be a better doodle dasher pill peddler, then, you know, so be it. I couldn't believe some of those comments.
I know we talked about this before, but I saw in Maryland that someone, that this man lost $38,000 to a grandparent scam that used a replicated voice. So they had somehow the scammers had a voice that sounded similar, or maybe they just had some kind of, I don't know. Somehow that voice called, and they really thought it was their granddaughter because the voice sounded very similar to the granddaughter. She was crying, said that there had been a car accident with 3 people in the hospital, that the police were detaining her. and that she needed money, and she was so frantic that they didn't even think twice about it, and he ended up losing $38,000.
That is sad. I actually, a short popped up the other day, one of Pierogi's videos, and it was one of the people in his office that makes the videos, not Brandon, but you probably know the people better than I do, but the one who's always making the videos, and he's always talking.
Daniel?
Does he have dark hair?
Yeah, that's Daniel. He's super awesome, y'all. He's really a cool guy. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it was just a short, and it just popped up, and it was about the AI, how dangerous it is now, because what they're doing is exactly what you just said, but they're actually getting it very close, or almost, you can't even tell. So it's just the new way of scamming people, this AI thing. And I mean, AI art is big, AI, everything's AI. So it's going to be the next generation of scams. We're always wondering what's going to happen after the call centers can't do this anymore. And eventually that will happen. It just takes time. But the AI thing is, it's hard to combat. They can be listening to us right now and chop up all the different words to make it like we were in an accident or whatever, and call our parents if they know who they are.
Right. Which I do that
and string it all together.
But
it's dangerous. But it just reminded me of they brought that up, and I never heard of that or thought of that. And I know that I've heard, like when you get the automated systems that call you and it says, do you have Medicare Part A, Part B? And you say yes. You're not supposed to say yes, because then they could use that for other things or stuff like that.
Right.
But this takes it to a whole new level.
Well, that's what I do all the time with your mom, but I call with and get all kinds of information about you.
Yeah, I mean, you probably know more about me than my mom does at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, most people don't. Moms, for an adult people, don't know everything about their children anymore. Maybe when they're children, but as adults, we tend to keep information from them.
Yeah.
So
but I think I've talked to you twice a week at least, or 3 times a week for the last year and a half. I think I've talked to my mom once a month for the last year and a half. So you do the math. I don't have my calculator, but I think that means I've talked to you a lot more than my mom.
So you should probably have a show with your mom, and then you would talk to her.
Yeah. Ugh.
So the Federal Trade Commission reported consumers lost nearly $8.8 billion to fraud last year. That's an increase of more than 30% since 2021.
8 billion?
Yeah, 8.8 billion. That's a 30% increase since 2021.
Wow, everybody's getting scammed, huh?
Yeah, and it's not decreasing the way that I want it to. Like, it feels like scam baiting is not helping when you look at those numbers, because it's like, well, with all these scam baiters, why isn't it decreasing?
Well, imagine if there was no scam baiters though doing this, maybe it would be 10 billion or 20 billion.
Yeah, maybe, but still, I would like it to move in the other direction. Not a 30% increase.
But I think, I mean, it can get discouraging. I hear you, but I also think that you need to step back and look at, how many victims have you saved since you've had the means to do so?
Yeah, that's true.
And if each one of them would have been scammed, and you don't even know, one of them they would have been wiped out. So you could have saved $500,000 if you want to put a dollar amount to it, and you're only one person. And then you have, other people in the community that are doing stuff like you do. And then you have the people like me that just call them with nonsense all day, and they can't even make a phone call. So I think we make a difference. It's slow but surely. But you're right. It gets discouraging that you keep, I hate when I hear about people getting scammed out of all this money. I'm like, oh, all that hard work we're doing is going backwards. But you can't look at it that way.
Yeah.
You can't.
I agree.
You can't track how many people you're saving. But if you want to start doing that, it would be interesting, but you don't know exactly how much they would have been scanned, but you can keep a head count of how many victims you've saved. I mean, not to brag to people, you know, how much you're saving, but for yourself, so you know that you're doing a good thing.
That's true. I agree. It's just, it's still like frustrating, but I agree. If you look at it by the person, progress is definitely we're all definitely helping by the person, but the problem is still increasing, you know? So. It
is. We talked about this a couple times. I mean, and I know I call them, and I think I called yesterday a few times throughout the day, and there was always people that they were so new that I could just rage nonsense at them, and they had no idea. And they would, I think 3 out of my 10 calls they made yesterday, they transferred the call to their supervisor because they didn't know what was going on. They weren't used to somebody calling and being wacky and abused. I mean, they're just so new. So I think there's a bunch of new people doing this every single day. It's a big problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, hello, Neon. Good morning.
Well, I expect you to tackle this problem in your free time.
I'm working on it. I got like 10 problems going on. I'm trying to solve the kangaroo problem in Australia, the time zone. I want all the countries on the same time zone. I want to get rid of daylight savings time. I have a whole list of stuff I want to do. I got to stop these countries from driving on the wrong side of the street. Metric system. We all need to be on the same way to measure things. The list goes on and on. So I'll get to the scam. I think I'll solve everything.
Thank you. That's all we ask.
Yep. Yep.
So, but everyone, we do have a guest today, but the guest got him kind of last minute. That's why Martin didn't put him in the. I said that our guest today, you got him like. I'm glad you did, but you got him at the last minute, so that's why Martin didn't put his name and stuff in the title. You put those
thumbnails out so early now. I can't keep up with you. It takes, you know, I gotta like, I was like trying to get a hold of people yesterday, and I was like, I need an answer before CJ puts out the thumbnail. I know what's going to happen, and exactly that. But that's all right. He's a humble guy. He doesn't need his picture on your thumbnail. So,
it's fine. I'll go back and update it, but I was just letting everyone know that we do have a guest today. So that'll be cool. I'm excited about that.
Oh, what's up, Balaji? Ronnie Rants is his name, and he's got a channel. I posted the link several times. Hopefully he'll be close to 1,000 after our show. He brings a different element to scam baiting world. He's very busy in his job, but he does a lot with cybersecurity, works with Nigerian scammers and some law enforcement. And he also has a couple different videos about the healing process of like the psychological things that happen to you when you're scammed. So he's got breathing techniques and things like that. So it's got a little bit of a different avenue to talk about.
Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I talked to him yesterday on the phone. I rarely talk to our guests like, you know, the day before. And we had a great conversation. He's in San Francisco, which is West Coast time. So I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. I don't think he cares. But if he does, then he's not going to come on and he'll send me a nasty message. But no, but it's early there is what I'm saying. But he'll wake up soon and he'll be with us.
We're going to track him down in San Francisco.
Yeah. And he doesn't live there, actually. He lives on this side, you know, on our side. So he's on our time, even though he's there for work or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
But I think he's got videos about his company and things. He's very, very transparent. He's not one of the people that, you know, we've had guests on the show that they won't even tell us their first name privately, and they have a voice changer when they're on the show with us. We've had that before. He's not, and that's fine. If you want to be anonymous, that's fine. We don't judge. You know, everybody's different. He doesn't care. So I think he's going to be very interesting to talk to.
Thank you so much, BB.
Oh, thank you so much, BB.
Appreciate that.
What up, Dinky?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to him. That'll be fun times. And also, we finally heard from our good friend Chester. He is alive. If anybody was wondering, he is still alive. He was like, I don't know what he was doing, like drilling into the ground or something.
He was guarding a statue or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand that picture. And then he told me what it was. And I was like, that's exactly what I would have guessed. It didn't look like they were changing a tire to me, but I have bad vision. But yeah, he's alive and well and changing tires and making a difference over there.
Yeah.
So we wish him well.
Yeah.
Now, if I could get him to just switch all the steering wheels to the other side of the cars when he's not busy, then we're on to something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He sent us a picture, and we don't really know what he was doing in the picture or what was going on, but he sent us a picture like, look, I'm busy. This is proof I'm busy.
He explained, because I was like, oh, so I forgot what I answered, but I said, I have no idea what that is, but thank you. I'm glad you're well. And then he said, I didn't understand that picture. I just didn't.
Yeah, that was a confusing picture. I won't share it because I don't know. That's a good idea, though. When he comes on with us, when he comes back, we got to ask him, can you share that picture? Yeah.
Just so people know what the hell we're talking about, because I couldn't tell.
Yeah, and explain to us what was going on there, because we have no idea.
He's not mad at us, Zeb, but he did say, I'm not doing the show as long as Zeb's there. Yeah. So I think he's mad at you.
Yeah, I agree. He did say that. So I think you're the problem, Zeb.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then, I was trying to get on the elevator a couple days ago, and you get to the elevator. It's a different world we live in, let me tell you. And some lady was on the floor, and we were both going to get on the elevator. And nowadays it's polite, it's custom to ask the person, are you okay with this? Meaning, if there's two people going on the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, really?
I said, are you okay with this? Because of COVID, and everyone's nervous about being in a close quarter with someone. It still happens in New York. I don't know about anywhere else, but she was a little older, and she had a mask on, so I wanted to be polite. And I said, are you okay with this? And she said, no. I said, okay. And I said, do you want to go down first? And she goes, no, you go ahead. And I was like, okay. I felt bad. But she was nice, and she let me go first because she didn't want, to put me at an inconvenience. So,
well, that's good. You got the elevator to yourself.
Right. I told her, I said, are you sure you don't want to ride? I'm going to cough all over you. I'm sick right now. You're missing a good time. But
yeah,
that didn't work. So what that did is it just got a complaint against me.
Was this the same person you threw snowballs at, or?
No, I wouldn't throw snowballs at my neighbor. I was throwing snowballs with my neighbor at cars in the city. We don't know who those people are.
Oh.
F them. They get hit with a snowball. Oh, what? Don't drive in New York on a snowy day. What do you want from me?
And
but
what if they
I was trying to stop him anyway. I was trying to stop that kid. I only threw one. He probably threw 10. So he's the real culprit.
And what if they had gotten into a car accident?
Well, that's what I was trying to tell him. That's not right. You shouldn't be throwing snowballs down at people in cars.
Which, by the way, that reminds me. Did you see that there's this new TikTok challenge where you run up in the store and you throw a bucket on a stranger's head to see how they react?
You throw what?
You're in a store, you run up to a stranger and you put a bucket over their head. That's a TikTok challenge right now.
I've seen, I was watching on YouTube like 2 years ago, that was big. This guy makes all the pranks, like he would put the buckets over people's head in stores and then change his jacket and run around. I'm sure people know because the videos used to go viral, but I stopped watching it once I saw the same people were in each video. So it was fake. So if you have I like real stuff. I hate those fake videos. Everyone's making fake videos now. So if you have a real video, please, I love that stuff as long as it's real.
No, you don't. I'm trying to tell everyone not to support this stuff because there is this woman that just got seriously injured because somebody did this to her at the store. Like, I don't understand why this is funny or okay. This is basically assault.
That is assault, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I would be pissed if I was standing there looking at, Captain Crunch on sale in aisle 6, and all of a sudden there's a bucket over my head. That's scary.
Yeah.
Well, and especially nowadays, people are getting shot for a lot less than this.
Yeah, well, this woman was seriously injured because the way he put, I guess the bucket was tight or something, and when he shoved it over her head, she couldn't breathe and she couldn't get it off, and she ended up being at the hospital. And she had her 2 children there with her. Like, something could have happened to the children. Nobody was watching them. Like, it's disgusting, in my opinion.
Yeah, hopefully, that was probably their last video then, right? The people that made it aren't going to keep doing that?
Well, they said that they haven't actually seen the video on social media, but they just know about it because she filed a police report because she's a mother. She had 2 infant twins with her, and she suffers from epilepsy resulting from cancer.
So the other thing there too is she had kids with her, and that's
babies.
dangerous that you're putting something over someone's head and then your kids are in the car, your newborn or whatever, your infant.
Yeah.
So that was not good judgment on those people that did the prank on that poor woman.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's horrible. Like, let's not support content like that because somebody could seriously get hurt. It might be funny. Some of them might be funny, but it's not worth it to me if somebody gets hurt.
The ones on YouTube that I see, that guy is fake. Everybody's in on it, so obviously it's just entertainment, and it's not really hurting anything. But it's just so fake to me. I can't watch it.
Zeb says, I always wear a bucket on my head. It's a public service. Thank you, Zeb.
Yeah, well, I've had nights like that where, I was told to put a bucket on my head. I did. But
hi, Dan. How
whatever.
are you?
Oh, what up, Dan?
But still, I really felt bad for that lady. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting old and ornery or something, but I mean, I just thought that was really sad because you have 2 infant twins. Like, what if she had knocked the car over trying to get it off of her head and the infants had gotten hurt? Like, that would have been horrible, Well,
it's. I'm sure they don't have a lot of dangerous mishaps, but if they are going to do stuff like that, they pick the wrong person to prank. I mean,
yeah,
something horribly wrong could have happened. I mean, it only takes a second to lose your kid in a busy place.
Yeah.
Her eyes are covered for a couple seconds. Plus, she had a condition.
Yeah.
Someone could have just said, "Oh, free kids," taking the kids away. So, yeah, that was not good judgment.
I agree, Dan. It does suck. Which, by the way, I can promise something. I do have, I am going to go back next Monday to my Monday premieres, and I do have enough videos for May, I think. So I've been waiting till I can be consistent with it. Morning, Kate.
Nice.
Thank you. So next Monday, I'm going to start with, back with my premieres. I think at 10 a.m. I feel like that's a good time.
It's every day's a weekend to me, so I'm down.
Yeah. So Monday at 10 a.m. I'm going to start with my premieres. Most of the videos are short, but I have someone that's been helping me edit because I've been so busy. So I'm excited to get back to it. Hopefully, you know, hopefully it'll help my channel that's basically dying because I'm not posting.
Well, you're not going to get any sympathy from me about dying because it's like we started the exact same day, the exact same minute, and you have 5,000 more subs than me. So I think you're anywhere far, far but dead. People love you.
Well, we all know. We all know what helped give me a boost, so we won't compare.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the reason was. You're there, so you're not going backwards, so you're not dying. You might be stagnant because you're not posting as much or at all, but
yeah.
You know, you're not. You could be worse. You could be posting 4 videos a week and it'd still be measly little me.
True. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't care. I said it.
Well, let's take our break, and then when we come back, we'll see if our friend is awake yet.
All right. I can't wait to talk to this young man. Hope he's here.
Yep. Okay, we'll be right back after this take break.
Thank you for calling Amazon. How can I help you?
Oh, बहुत शुक्रिया. मैं आपको पूरे दिन फोन करता रहूंगा. मेरा नाम TAGOW है. Get ready, bitch. All day long. No victims. Samjha?
Sorry?
What are you sorry about? Sitting there and sounding stupid and trying to pretend that you're Amazon? You sound ridiculous. Tamara aasi naam kya hai? Jawab do. Chinta mat karo.
What are you talking?
Kya kaha? I'm not a police officer.
What are you talking, sir?
I'm just one guy who's on the phone with a bevacoof. You sound ridiculous. What language? What language did I use that's so bad? Bevacoof? I'm sure you've been called worse. Samjha? Either talk or hang up the phone, Gandu. I have criminals to call.
I didn't.
You didn't what? I pretend I work at Amazon. I hurt innocent people. Big man over here. Big man. Making your parents proud. Hurting the innocent. You sound ridiculous. Get a job. Get a job. Samjha?
Did you talk with anyone apart?
I've talked to everyone.
Before?
Everyone today. That's what I do. तुम मुझे ब्लॉक नहीं कर सकते निराकुतियों में आपका स्वागत है. I call you guys all day long. You can't get a victim. Go be poor. Stop hurting people. Stop it.
Can I get your name?
Oh, मेरा नाम Raj Patel है.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, why did you hang up the phone, sir?
I'm sorry?
Why did you hang up the phone?
What do you mean? This is the first time I'm calling you. What do you mean hang up? We're still on the phone together, no? That was weird.
Publisher's Clearance House, how can I assist you?
Why did you hang up the phone?
We got disconnected. Did you get the card?
Yeah, I got the card. I don't understand. And then I tried to call back, and I don't know if it was you or another guy. He said, why did you hang up the phone? And he hung right up on me. I just was calling back with the card.
Okay, and how much did you get the card for?
$1,500. Are you Publishers Clearinghouse?
Sir, you're speaking at Mr. David Long. How much did you purchase the card for? How many cards that you have?
What's your name?
You're speaking at the delivery guy, David Long.
Okay, you're going to come get this card? Are you going to be the one who's bringing me the stuff?
That's correct. And how many cards that you get?
I have 4 cards. I don't know if you want me to give you the numbers or give them to you when you get here. But I'm wondering if you could stop at the store and pick me up some things.
What do you want me to pick up?
Captain Crunch. Oh, actually, get the Crunch Berries. I'm out of cereal, and I love Captain Crunch. Maybe some Crunch Berries and maybe some peanut butter crunch. I want Skippy peanut butter. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, did you write everything down?
I know what you need.
Well, I'm not done yet, and by the time I'm done with the list, you might forget some of the things. So far, we have Crunch Berries, peanut butter crunch. I need a tube of peanut butter. I like the creamy kind. I don't want nuts in my peanut butter. And then I need some 1% milk And then from the cat food aisle, that's not too far from the cereal aisle. I don't know what store you're going to, but usually the cat food aisle is right next to the cereal aisle. I need Fancy Feast in the can, and it needs to be grilled, not pate. These guys will not eat that stuff. It needs to be grilled. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. And then I need paper towels, Irish Spring soap. I need Dove soap. Give me some are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. And what's the name of the card that you get?
I got 4 American Express cards.
How much each you get those cards for?
$500 on 3 of them. He's $1,500. The last card I got was only I had to go to 2 different stores because there was a limit at one of the stores. So then I got $300 on the other card. So I think it's about $1,800. 4 cards for $1,800.
Right, take out the $300 one. Let me get you ready. $300 one.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm not done yet. From the frozen food section, give me some Celeste frozen pizzas for 1, please. And then right next to that, you'll see the Lean Cuisine raviolis. So get me 2 of the Lean Cuisine raviolis. And then actually, can you go back to the cat aisle? Well, you don't have to go back. I'm just all over the place right now. Can you give me some catnip for my cats? I have 3 cats. And then also at the other end of the aisle, I need a loaf of fresh bread. Please get wheat bread. It doesn't have to be gluten-free, but just please get wheat bread. And then from the deli, give me a half pound of turkey, a quarter pound of salami, and give me some nice ham, too. Some nice cold cuts, and I'm going to make a nice platter for tonight's gathering. Did you write all that down?
Yeah, well, give me the $300 card. Let me get you registered. Take out the $300 card.
Right. Now, where are we up to on my list? I forgot what I told you. Let me start over just to make sure you have everything. So that's 1 box of Captain Crunch Crunch Berries, another box of Peanut Butter Crunch, a tube of Skippy Creamy Peanut Butter, and then when you're in the cat aisle, make sure you get Fancy Feast grilled. I don't care if it's chicken, salmon, or tuna, whatever. It just has to be grilled, please. And then while you're there, get some catnip, and then you're going to go back to the counter there, get me some turkey, some ham, some salami. Just give me a half pound of each because I'm having a lot of people over. We're going to celebrate this winning. Okay? Hello?
Thank you for getting connected. This is Geek Squad. How may I help you today?
Hi, is this Geek Squad?
Yes, this is Geek Squad.
Asshole. Who believes you? Go ahead, please.
Thanks for calling. How can I help you?
Hi, is this Geek Squad?
Yes, Geek Squad.
Asshole.
Sorry?
Can you help me? I have an invoice number.
I'm going to fuck your mom, son of a bitch.
Gandu, you're off to a bad start today.
U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, how can I help you?
Asshole. Can you help me? No one can help me.
Yeah, hi, your line has been connected to PayPal customer service. This is David. How can I help you today?
David, I really need to speak to PayPal, and I keep getting the runaround. I have a big problem going on, and I keep speaking to little hooligans. Can you help me?
Yeah, so in this situation, first of all, sir, could you verify me your first name?
Dean.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Sorry, I was getting another call from a Geek Squad. Something's up with my Geek Squad account as well. My name's Dean Myers.
All right. Could you spell out for me your first name, sir?
The first name, Dean, that's capital D, lowercase e, lowercase a, lowercase n, T, Y, N, 4, 8, 5, 1, E, L, N, O, Q, Z, Y, dash mark, 45, 35, 18, 859. Did you get all that?
Yeah, Mr. Dean, could you verify me? Is it C-Y-N after that?
After that, it goes with a Y, T, 48563912 question mark 45 89 103 85H Q Z1 346. Did you get that?
Yes. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. In order to pull out your order details in my system, could you verify me a zip code, Mr. Dean?
The zip code is 1543128?9421/86430. Although a lot of people don't usually care about the last 4 digits, but I don't know if you need that or not.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Mr. Dean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It sounds like there's some dodgy buggers in the background, but I can hear you fine. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, this is Senior Supervisor from PayPal. How can I help you?
I was just speaking with some gentleman on the phone. I had a message came through that says I was being deducted some money out of my PayPal account, and I didn't send anybody money. I didn't buy anything. I use PayPal a lot. I mean, I must have about, I don't know, $60-something thousand in that account. I'm very nervous right now. Something's going on. I haven't used that account in about a year and a half. All of a sudden, I get a message.
Thank you for calling PayPal. You're talking to Alex. How may I help you?
Alex, I was on the phone with somebody and we got disconnected. The first name was DEAN31648294164. Can you help me?
Alright, so just stay on the line. Let me check in my system.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I can't believe you could help me.
Yes, how may I assist you? Call today?
Now you're back. Okay.
You mother chode?
Oh, you're upset? Why are you upset with me? What did I do?
No, what do I do? Call your wife. I will talk her, bro.
Mother chode shoot. I can barely understand you. Kya aap Angrezi bolte hai?
Hey, just tell me one thing. Just tell me one thing.
I mean, can you talk a little clearer? I'd like to understand you. Your phone is shit. Your phone sucks, Gandu. You need a new phone. What? You're not making sense. I can't understand you. You sound like a Sanjay Skywalker right now.
Thank you for calling PayPal customer support. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm having a tough time with my PayPal account. Something happened.
Sorry, what happened?
I just had a message. You okay? It sounds like there's some noise back there. Is everything all right?
What? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so what message you got?
That there was some kind of charge being made for some kind of
Sir?
like. Hello?
Yes. Can you read that message?
Yeah, I'm trying, but every time I try, you sound like you're busy or something. Like you're out of breath. What have you been doing over there? I mean.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. You can read that message.
I'm an easygoing person. I can call you back if you want, like in an hour or something. Oh, but then you probably won't have the the number won't be up, right? Yeah. No, I get it. I better be quick.
Can you please receive?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, your number's going to go down quicker than you at a call center function, right? You suck off everybody there. You love the Lund, right, Rundy? Can you help me?
Your name is Raj Patel.
Absolutely. Bilkul. I'm waiting.
Why are you yelling at me, sir?
Why are you scamming people? What do you expect's going to happen? What do you expect when you sit there and you answer the phone like an Amazon employee? You sound ridiculous. If you can't handle me yelling at you, how could you handle being on your knees sucking off your cellmate? That's where you're headed. You think you can't get caught? You think you can't get caught, and that's why you're doing this. Let's go hurt the innocent because I can't get caught. Ridiculous. You are ridiculous.
Then how am I supposed to get caught?
How are you supposed to what? Kya aap Angrezi bolte hai? I'm trying to understand you, but you don't make sense. It doesn't matter about getting caught or not. Go get a job and stop hurting people.
Able to get caught.
There's a lot of things you can do to not get caught. That doesn't make it right. You don't understand, do you? But what?
But I'm not doing anything wrong.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
Who are you?
I'm the one who's gonna fucking keep calling your dumb ass all goddamn day. I'm gonna make you poorer than you've ever been in your life. Go get a job. Stop hurting people, fucking loser.
Can you give me a job?
Absolutely not. You are a terrible liar and you are a terrible person. How long have you been scamming like this? Javapto! That's the end of that conversation.
You are connected with support. How can I help you?
You're picking up the phone pretending that you want to help people, but you really want to rob them.
I want you to understand, legally and federally, I know what type of a time waster you are.
Do you want people to empty their bank account?
Why would you waste my precious time?
We call scammers. And man, they say the dumbest stuff.
Go ahead, please.
Hey, do not call this number again, okay?
Okay, and we are back from the take break. Scammer Payback says you rock. Thank you, Pierogi.
Pierogi, good morning. Thank you, bro. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah. We're going to be talking to Ronnie. So let's get Ronnie on the line. And while he's talking, while he's talking, I'll change the I'll put his name in there. So let me get him on the line first. And Take is walking. Hello, Ronnie. Are you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us last minute. We really appreciate that.
Hey, can you repeat that?
I said thanks so much for joining us.
Oh yeah, happy to join. Sorry, I had you on my phone, not the headset. So yeah, I got you now. I got you. So yeah,
Okay.
happy to join. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, thanks for doing this short notice, too. I understand you're in the middle of San Francisco. You got earthquakes out there and crooked streets and conventions. You're very busy. You're on East Coast time. You're all messed up, and you have time to do our little show here. So welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, happy to hop on. And yeah, I'm out here at the RSA conference, getting ready to present on business email compromise, which is a type of cybercrime that we see a lot of. So yeah, happy to hop on, and
awesome.
happy to chat about it.
That sounds great. You
Cool.
definitely sound smarter than me already. We just started.
I've just been doing this for 7-8 years now, but I was doing a lot of malware stuff before that. It was something where I just kind of saw the need, and I just kind of inherited this, if you will. And that's kind of what really got me into it, was just seeing the need and kind of going from there. So
Awesome. Well, how did you get into scam baiting?
yeah. I'll go ahead and kind of start off with my background and stuff. So my name is Ronnie Tokazowski. I'm a principal threat advisor with a company called Cofense. And I kind of got started in scam baiting back in around 2010. I was working with a defense contractor at the time, and what we were seeing was what we would call advanced persistent threat attacks. So for those who are unaware with that term, that would be nation state activity, China, trying to hack into different types of corporations and government in order to steal government technologies, missiles, things like that. So the way I got my foray into it was I was a malware analyst at the time, and what that means is I would take the computer viruses apart, and I would take the viruses that China was writing in order to try and hack into our government systems. Really interesting times, and there were times where I would take the virus and then run it on my computer virtual machine, see what and where it goes, and track what it did.
Wow.
Fast forward to 2015, I got exposed to a type of crime called business email compromise, which is also known as CEO fraud, which is where a scammer will pretend to be the CEO of a company. They'll send an email to the company and say, "Hey, I need you to do this urgent wire transfer for me." At the time, there was no one working it, and it was something where it was very new at the time. We were all trying to figure out how to work with it. So we responded back to the scammers, and we were able to get bank accounts out of them. We were able to get mule accounts out of them. And in doing that, we quickly realized that no one had a handle on that. So that's what really kind of got me into the engaging with a scammer, or scam baiting, as you guys call, to try and figure out how you can get more information out of the scammers. Where I sit now in that business email compromise fight, I do a lot of tracking of, again, Nigerian fraud. So that includes check fraud, romance scams, gift card scams, lots of other money laundering. I do a lot of work back and forth with law enforcement on this stuff, just because again, I try to raise awareness on how all these things work. So yeah, I'm an open book when it comes to the intricacies of how a lot of these scams work. We can go down like 24 different pathways for any of the questions if you want. So.
Wow, awesome. Well, you got a good one this time, Take.
So, and your channel is fairly new. I mean, like you said, you've been doing this for 10 years, and you posted, I think, for maybe the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But what I love about your style is, I mean, you do a lot of shorts, and you're kind of right to the point. You're talking about the scams, and you're very educational. And then you have a whole other avenue of your channel, which I don't know if you were listening early in the morning when I was talking about you a little bit. You have a whole thing about victim healing. I mean, you know, breathing techniques and meditation. Was that something you were involved in before you just happened to become a scambaiter, and you figured, let me link the two because I can help some people?
I was gonna say, so before that, I was a stubborn asshole that was like, I'm never gonna do breath work. I'm never gonna do mindfulness. I'm never gonna do any of that crap. That's all woo woo voodoo. I'm never doing any of that. But it turns out that when you're doing things like looking at severed heads as part of some of these scams, when you're reading things where romance victims are ready to commit suicide, when you've got cases where you have human sacrifices, or cases where people are literally being beaten to do some of these scams, it kind of messes with your head. So for me, getting into the breathwork, the meditation, yoga, it came out of necessity because I needed to kind of take care of my own mental health and kind of get control of that. And then seeing just the personal benefits in my life, it was something where I really kind of started coming to the conclusion that absolutely none of us know how these stupid things called emotions work. So it was something where I wanted to go ahead and start socializing that and kind of saying, hey, here's how these things work, in order to kind of do that. And I saw how much healing it helped me. I saw how much it helped my mood. I saw how much it helped me from being angry and grumpy and holding on to stuff to being able to actually let stuff go. So that's kind of why I took that approach. And with a lot of the victims I was speaking with, you could tell that they were so emotionally distraught that that again, they were just so confused. They didn't know which way to turn. They had so many complex emotions tied back to what they were seeing and doing, because it was something where they had been absolutely put through the ringer for years. And again, they really didn't know which way to turn. So that's kind of why I started taking that approach. And so far, it's helped a little bit. And I'm still kind of figuring out, okay, what's the best way to kind of articulate and socialize this? But yeah, it's something where that's kind of what got me into that.
Wow. And what scammers are cutting people's heads off?
So there's a couple types of scams on that. So a lot of the Jamaicans will do things like they'll send you death threats, and they'll go ahead, they'll take pictures of like body parts and stuff and be like, hey, I'm coming after you next, send me $500 in gift cards. A lot of the human side that we see is on the Nigerian side. So it's one of the darker things that most people don't realize. So for folks like Black Axe, again, feel free, there's actually a really good BBC documentary on that. But for them, they will actually do human sacrifices in order to quote unquote gain extra powers, in order to be better scammers. They're called Yahoo Boys who do a lot of the scams. It's called becoming a Yahoo Boy Plus. So what they will do is they will literally murder somebody to kind of, as part of this voodoo ritual, in order to get a better edge and be a better scammer. And while it may seem extreme right now, unfortunately, this is a more common practice than it is an uncommon practice. A lot of people don't realize that the spirituality of the juju in Nigeria is something that actually has to be accounted for, because the scammers truly believe that. You have cases where they will go and have to do this different money ritual. They'll bring pictures of their victims to their native doctors in order to get a blessing, in order to be able to scam more from them. But the way it works is it's simply a way for them to instill confidence in themselves to go ahead and steal more money from the victim.
My God.
Wow. And I mean, you're dead on. I mean, not only it's disgusting for scammers to do that and to send pictures like that, but in any form of life, no matter what, whether it's scamming world or regular life, you watch negativity all day long, it's going to mess with your head. You know, I used to run not to get off topic too much, but I was in charge of a bunch of stores, and I had a sales crew under me, and there was a guy that was always complaining about his life, and, you know, he couldn't sell anything. And I showed up at his store one day, and he's watching on his phone, he's watching Faces of Death, you know, the old videos of all the murderers, and he's watching some website that he can shows cartels raiding another house and assassinating people, like real videos. And I'm like, of course you're depressed. You're watching negative shit the whole day. I mean, it happens. And imagine, you know, you think you're talking to the love of your life, or, you know, that you need to get somebody out of a jam, and you're being scanned, and all of a sudden somebody sends you a picture of them decapitating somebody. It's sick. It's a sick world.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing too is people who were exposed to this, and this is research that you see in psychology spaces, but again, I have never seen it like outside of trauma cases. But there was a really, really good book called The Body Keeps the Score. And again, before I got into yoga, before I got into breath work, like I never even knew this was a thing. But as we as humans go through life, we have traumatic events that will stick with us. And when I say stick with us, they will physically manifest into our organs, into our stomach, into the pit of our lower intestines and muscles, because we hold that tension in our bodies, and we don't want to experience that. And so much of what the victims go through is not wanting to come to terms with how they actually feel. And because they don't want to come to terms with how they actually feel, their body will actually have organ problems. They'll have high blood pressure. They'll have all of these other things that they need to constantly address. And until they start constantly addressing that, like that's good. That will physically stick with them. I remember, and I remember speaking with one person. I'm not going to say who it was, but you know who it was in this case, where they actually went in person talking with a romance scam victim. And the romance scam victim, like, just emotionally dumped on them. And after that case, this person said he just felt physically ill, couldn't shake the feeling. And what happens is when our bodies do that, again, that victim emotionally dumped was able to release a lot of that sensation from their body, and our bodies literally pick that up. Our bodies literally pick up that negativity, and unless you know how to actually work through that with your body, it gets to a point where it's really, really, really hard to do.
Right. So, that's really interesting. So, are the Nigerians, like, are they forced into scamming, or do they choose it?
So for most of the Nigerians, they choose it. For them, they will kind of either go the route of trying to some of them are recruited. Like I said, you got Black Axe, you've got a lot of the other confraternities over there where they'll be recruited for it. You've got a subculture where scamming is more okay, just because poverty is over 50%. The ones who are forced into it come out of Southeast Asia, specifically around Myanmar / Burma, Thailand, and Laos. And that ties back to an area of crime called pig butchering, which is a mixture of investment scams mixed with crypto fraud.
Uh-huh. Okay. Wow, that's super interesting. I didn't know all that. So do you do anything with scams out of India?
With India, I do not. That's like the one geography that I don't cover. Just because seeing everybody doing all the scam baiting, I'm like, okay, y'all got to handle it. I don't need to come and help out. So a lot of my stuff tends to be the Nigerian fraud side, just because, like I said, that's kind of what I had inherited back in 2015. And doing work with law enforcement on this, it's something where we need a lot of a handle on that one right now. So.
Yeah, and how does do you have any idea how the Nigerian government is reacting to all this?
So there's how they publicly react and how they react on the backside. So when it comes to a lot of stuff publicly, they say that they're anti-scams. You even have like a law that is, I forget the exact name of the law or like the actual law number, but it's an anti-cult law. And what happens is a lot of these scams fall under that rule and regulation of being a cult, because again, they're doing things like using juju, and these rituals in order to gain a leg up. So that's kind of where you have like this cultish activity coming from the scams. So publicly, they say that they're not supportive of it. On the backside, however, you have cases where Black Axe has actually embedded people into their government in different areas. And when you do that, it's something where it gets really, really hard to try and get prosecutions on it. I know there are some other like law enforcement organizations where they will go and do good and they'll go and arrest people. But the problem with that is that you've also got some who will go and shake down the Yahoo boys and actually like get money from them. They'll take briberies. And when you look at it like from that perspective, like a monthly wage in Nigeria is $100 per month. Like people make next to nothing out there. So when you're going to get $1,000 and you can go get that for free or relatively cheap, it becomes very, very tempting for a lot of them.
Sure.
And so you mentioned it a little bit before, and I know you have a couple videos where you use the term Yahoo boys. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so in essence, a Yahoo boy is a scammer from Nigeria. The term came from when they initially used the Yahoo email services in order to scam victims. And there was a big arrest that came out of it, and the term Yahoo boys very much came out of that. So that's like I said, it's just the Nigerian scammer. You have other folks, such as in Ghana, who are the equivalent, and they're called Sakawa boys. And with Sakawa, it's something where you have more elements of the juju like you have in Nigeria, but they actually call it the act of Sakawa. So it's essentially cybercrime mixed with this cultish religion, if you will.
Wow.
Okay.
So is it? Sorry, go ahead, Take.
No, just to follow up on that, something that he just said. So out of all the scammers in Nigeria, would you say that there's a fairly high percent that are doing this as I guess I don't want to say religious beliefs, but as part of the cult, like where they actually are worshiping some kind of spirit where they think will make them a better scammer, or is it kind of a select few do that? Like how deep is what did you call it? The jujube?
Not the jujube, just the juju. And like I said, the way that line gets cut is juju would be very similar to what we would consider voodoo here in the States. But like I said, it's got similar elements to it. But to answer your question, for some of them, there is some of the religious aspect of it. And what it is their deity I know Black Axe and kind of the person that they do a lot of these things in the name of, if I remember right, I think his name is Ogun. And it's Ogun. And a lot of what it has to do with slave oppression. And because of a lot of the oppression that they had exhibited, if you look up like the hierarchy and the lore of Ogun, essentially he was a very freeing individual. So because of that freeing nature and everything, it was something where he was able to help embrace that and help make a lot of people get out of the chains that they were in. With Black Axe, for example, the reason that they're called you have an axe as their symbol is because they're called axemen. They literally carry a hatchet around in many cases. So you can think of the things that somebody can do with an axe. That's what they will do, is they will go after people with an axe and stuff. And they'll so that's why and for them that's why they're called axemen and stuff. So
wow, that's pretty fascinating. So are there any is there any population of Nigerians that are in the United States that are working with people back in Nigeria?
Yep. And when it comes to them, they actually have people not just in America, but we've seen cases in Canada, Mexico, UK, Dubai. I think we've seen some in India too, and like a couple in Russia. Not as many there, but a lot of the money laundering does happen in other parts of the world like that.
Right.
I know specifically Black Axe, they'll use shell companies, and when they use those shell companies, they'll look like logistics trading companies here in the States, and they will go and use that in order to launder the funds. And when the funds go, it will usually hit like 4 to 6 hops before it finally gets back to them. And then once it gets back to there, that's where they can kind of launder the money from there. And from the laundering chains, like I've seen cases where it's like touch 4 different types of crime before it finally gets sent, and then we lose track of it.
So have you heard of any
And-
of them like going after scambaiters in the United States?
Knock on
Physically?
wood, I have not.
Just
Oh,
CJ.
I really. What was that?
No, I think we're all safe. Hopefully, what you were saying is you haven't heard of anything yet, right? Like they're not going off after anyone.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So a lot of them do tend to be local, and with a lot of the Nigerians, like they'll threaten you over messages. Like they'll be like, "Oh, it's gonna kill you, thunder strike you." But yeah, they'll kind of do that to make it to where they're like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna come after you like that."
So, in all the work that you do, I would think that, I mean, a money mule is probably, if they're in America, you probably have more success with getting some information from some of the mules than you do kind of knowing right where they were in Nigeria even. It's tough to do it if it's international, right? Like you're probably, not that we want there to be money mules, but if you can find a money mule who's involved in some kind of romance scam or some kind of scam overseas, it's probably easier to catch a money mule, right?
Yeah, we have a lot more success catching them if they're here. We do have a lot of partners around the world where we have tendrils out there. Don't want to list where just because of a scammer listening to them. Don't want to tip my cards. But it's something where in terms of America, yeah, we do have a lot more success there. The only problem though is when you go talk to, let's say, a romance scam victim, when you go and say, hey, you are a money mule, you are committing fraud, you're doing a bad thing. The first thing that's going to happen is that victim is going to put up their defenses and say, I'm not doing a scam, I'm not doing any of this, because in their mind, and you can plug them up to a polygraph on this, in their mind, they do not believe what they're doing is wrong. Because in their heads, they think every single thing that they're doing is for this lover, is for their boyfriend or girlfriend that they're in a relationship with. They may have been in a relationship for 2 months, 2 years, or up to 10 years in some cases I've personally seen, where that's now 10 years that they believe that they're with that person. So when you have an outsider coming in and saying, hey, that's wrong, like I said, they get defensive. So you have to account. So a lot of law enforcement, this is what I see law enforcement failing this all the time. But law enforcement actually has to account for that and realize that, okay, this is what this person believes. You have to read between the lines in order to get to the truth. And the problem is, a lot of times you never really get to the truth because they're telling so many different stories and so many different angles on it that they can't really say, hey, I wired this money here for this. Because a lot of times that the scammers will tell them that when they're wiring money, like they really don't know the true intent. Whereas law enforcement might have, hey, this was part of a work from home scam that you received this check from SBEC that's now coming to you to be wired as cash to go over here. Okay, another case I've seen where it's something where it gets very complex and convoluted.
Yeah, it's like totally brainwashed. It reminds me of like, you know, if you're part of you see these documentaries or these cults that have existed throughout time, and you know, good people fall into a bad situation, you know, with a charismatic leader, and you know, it happens in small amounts. You know, 10 years later, you expect to talk to somebody and get them out of it and say, "Don't you realize this is bad?" The person's brainwashed. You can't deprogram somebody who's had you know, a bunch of years of consistency of it's all they know. And for somebody who really believes that they're in a real relationship and they're being loved, I mean, you have to hit it with a very different angle. You need to show compassion and understanding and understand where this person's coming from. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we've all heard the stories and seen videos of YouTubers confronting people that, as you watch the video, you're pretty sure that they're guilty and they're a mule. And then that mule actually thinks that they're not doing anything wrong and they're just sending money to their company and they're doing work for this company. And if you hook them up to a lie detector test, 9 times out of 10, they don't think they're doing anything wrong.
Yeah, and that's one of the hard things that people don't realize is when it comes to that brainwashing. Yeah, you're 100% right. And in addition to that, again, digging into just the yoga, the mindfulness and stuff, our subconscious has a lot of emotions that are attached back to that, and that communication is fairly open. So when it comes to living that experience, you now have this case where it literally becomes a war in your body of, okay, my thoughts believe this one thing, my body is telling the other, and unless you learn to actually know how to work with that, in many cases, yeah, with victims, we've seen suicide side back to this. So it's something where your victims really don't know that. In addition to that, just why, because I wanted to point this one out, and this bugs the ever living crap out of me. You mentioned YouTubers who will go and work with a lot of the scam victims too. I have seen cases where many of the people who are working these scams have absolutely berated the victims. They have called them horrible people. They have abused them to the point where they will shut down and they will be like, oh, so this scam victim actually went back to the scammer. Haha, I wonder why they did it. It's like, well, no, you're not being compassionate. You're being an absolute jerk to them. And they got defensive and you messed up. So I see way too many scam baiters who will do that for thinking they're helping them, yelling in their face, that's the complete opposite of what you really should be doing.
You mean
Right.
for victims,
I think everyone would agree.
Yelling at victims? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I've seen cases where victims will get yelled at, victims will be confronted, and in that confrontation, it's something where it becomes very blunt and very straight with them. And they'll, like I said, they'll be like, you're doing a bad thing, you're doing this, we're gonna get you arrested and everything. But you have to approach that victim with compassion, because again, with the nature of the way that works, and just with the way the human body is, the way human physiology is, the way decades and decades of psychology is, you cannot do that, because the path to get defensive in that case, when someone is already fragile and broken and confused and has no idea where to turn and feels like nobody loves them, yelling at somebody who is already beaten down is just going to revalidate those feelings and emotions and make them feel even worse. And that's the problem I see with a lot of scam baiters, is that they will do that and not know how to effectively work with the victims.
Right, for sure. I agree.
So let's talk about something positive though. So and maybe there isn't anything positive, I don't know, but has there ever been a case that you've worked on or that you know of where somebody was scammed a large sum of money that has gotten it back?
Yes, yeah. So there's actually been a lot of cases like that. So
there is rupee at the end of the rainbow. Let's hear about that.
Success getting. What was that?
I said there is rupee at the end of the rainbow. Just give us a positive. Give us a story of somebody who's gotten their money back.
Oh, I'll give you a story of a couple $100 million worth of money that got back and everything. So I know with FBI and Secret Service, they have ways that they can kind of start recovering some of the money. So depending on how soon the money was sent, there's been a lot of success there. I know with the Secret Service, they have a team that focuses on that. I know the FBI has they're called the RAT team. But with the RAT team, I know they've gotten over $100 million back from victim funds. And a lot of that comes from bank collaboration. It comes from working with the parties that receive the money. So it's something where there's been a lot of success over the years on that. In order to recover the money, I think Secret Service is upwards of 100 million, either one or either 100 or 120 million that they've recovered too. So we've gotten a lot of money back, but that's still a lot of headway that we need to go through in order to start recovering more. But I will say again, tracking this for so long, I have a unique visibility to be able to see where we were and where we've come from. So I will say that we have a lot of ways to go before we're getting ahead of a lot of this. But the cool thing is there has been a lot of progress. I know, like with interagency collaboration, like I've never seen more collaboration between law enforcement and the private sector. There's collaboration between the banks and the financial institutions in order to get ahead of this. And I know places like FinCEN will help foster a lot of that communication too. So it's something where everybody is working together in order to get ahead of this crime.
Wow. So what do we need to do? Like, how does the average person redeem any of their money back?
So it depends. So for the average person, it depends when they had sent the money. If it was usually within the first 72 hours, there's a good chance of success on that. So I would say have them file a complaint with FCC, have them file a complaint with IC3, have them file a complaint with US CERT, or not US CERT, Secret Service. And with all of that, if they're able to have somebody come out and reach them, there's a good chance that money can be returned. In addition to that, the first thing you need to do is work with their bank in order to have the banks give information to say, hey, you were a victim, you were seen here, or have the person say that they were a victim. And a lot of times the banks will work with that person. They will help either return the funds or make it to where they can go ahead and have progress and get the help that they need.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like when you do those IC3s that anything comes of it. That's how it feels. I'm not saying that's true, but for the average person, they might not get a response.
Yeah, and specific to IC3, it does feel like that. But I will say, just from working directly with them, they do review every single case. It's something where there are so many scams going on right now that it's an absolute floodgate of information and intelligence. So with the resources that IC3 has, they do an amazing job. But the problem is there are so many scams and not enough analysts who are looking at this stuff. I'm actually, in my presentation here on Thursday, I'll actually be referencing this. But when it comes to business, like I said, business email compromise, Nigerian fraud, romance scams, things like all those related scams, for the actual amount that we're doing it, we at the end of the day we're touching maybe 1% of the 1%, because there are so many of these things that happen where it's like, nope, can't really do anything about it. That we really need to figure a way to start doing more on that.
And I mean, you've somehow like assimilated. You know so much about Nigeria. Did that come because of these scams, or was it kind of vice versa? I mean, when we watch your videos, I mean, you have a lot of great things to say about Nigeria, and either you've been there before or you've done a lot of research.
Yeah, so I've heard that I've been there before, like a lot of times. So either I'm very obsessive with my research, or it's something where but no, for me, yeah, I've done a lot of research on the area, and it was something where when I initially started this, I could not wrap my head around how somebody could, in good faith, take a victim and go and run them to the point of suicide, in order to go and do some of these things. And it was just something where it was like an itch in my head that just would not go away. So that's what got me researching it, was trying to figure out what are the other geopolitical things going on in Nigeria that's influencing it. So yeah, I just started going down the rabbit hole and researching all the things in the culture. They have an entire subculture of rappers who sing about the different types of scams they're doing over there. And yeah, that's kind of what got me down there, was trying to piece together and answer that question of how can one human be so horrible to another human? So,
right.
Because for me, I'm that person. I feel guilty killing a fly. It's something where I want to putting somebody through that much emotional pain.
You need to come back to New York right now, because there's a fly that's circling around my head. So you can start with this one, please. Because I can't.
No worries.
So, there's been a fly driving me crazy. It's just funny that you said that. But anyway, I don't want to make light of the topic, but I'm always fascinated with the inner workings. We CJ and I deal with a lot in India, and I think 90% of the scambaiters that we talk to deal with India. And I'm always and CJ was in India for a few months, and she got to see it firsthand. And all the research I've done, and you get to watch shows, and I talk to a lot of scammers. Sometimes it's not all rage and trying to be funny. We talk about movies and music and life and things. And I love it when I see somebody who's looking at scams in a country, because it's hard to catch them. And like you said, they're doing evil things, but you see the good there, and that it's not everyone. It's a very small percent, right? It's not like, 90% of the Nigerians are scammers. There's so many good things that come out of Nigeria, which I'm sure you've been discovering, right? I mean, you have a video where you talk about how great Nigeria is.
Yeah, and and the cool thing is, because of the scam culture that's existed, that's persisted for several decades. you have the youth that are coming up now who are like, no, we're not going to be doing this. So you have areas like Future Labs that are actually teaching and educating a lot of the youth out there in order to kind of go and do good. You've got Tribe of Hackers, which is something, I think that was the name, but they're actually doing their best to educate people in order to do legitimate security work, and they have conferences out there. So you've also got Cyber Girls that does a lot of work in Africa, teaching females how to go and code, how to program, and how to start breaking that pattern. So you have a lot of people who are working towards making that better Nigeria, if you will, and actually teaching and stuff. And like when it comes to talent who's wanting to learn, like if there's anybody listening on here who would be ever curious to hire somebody, like I have not seen a person who is more willing and wanting to work than somebody in Nigeria, just because they understand the poverty, they understand what they're doing, and they are some of the quickest learners I have ever seen. It's absolutely amazing just with how much and how quickly they are doing a lot of stuff. And if any philanthropist ever wanted to go and do an investment into Nigeria, like I said, that's where you would go and hire a lot of tech talent to be able to start developing a lot of things. Because again, they are so thirsty for knowledge and so wanting to learn and get out of this rut. It's ridiculous. And a lot of it plays into the poverty because, like I said, it's you have $100 per month, which is a fairly basic wage out there, but that's kind of what they'll make. And you also have ages 18 to 35 with unemployment rates between upwards of 50%. So like if there is no work, there are no opportunities. That's directly playing into this whole ecosystem. And like once we figure that and crack that nut, a lot of things would change.
So would you say in your best estimation that, I mean, it's big there because of corruption, right?
I would say so. So it's a combination of corruption and decades of it being acceptable. So you have people who will see it as being okay. And there's also a lot of peer pressure too. So for example, this came from one of the people I was working with out in Nigeria. He was saying that in the colleges and in the universities, there's actually a level of peer pressure where if you have one person who's doing really good, the girl would go for the Yahoo boy who has a lot of money, as opposed to the person who didn't have the money. So you've also got elements of that where that plays into it too. Whereas if you want to try and impress the opposite gender in order to go and find a relationship to live, some of them have to do that and do that more flashiness. And it's very tempting for people to go for that Yahoo boy who is driving the BMW when people don't have a car in Nigeria, when they have an iPhone when you normally have like a crappy crappy cell phone and stuff. So it gets very tempting in order to do that and everything. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if I used the right term when I said corruption. Of course, it has something to do with that. But I mean, if you look up GDP and economics, I mean, Nigeria is considered a pretty wealthy, if not the wealthiest country in Africa, you know?
Yep.
And India,
they are
the fifth largest economy. And I was saying this earlier, the scams are prevalent in India and Nigeria, but if you Google the most corrupt countries, they don't make the top 10, India or Nigeria. You have Sudan and Congo, and I don't hear about any kind of romance scams or pet scams coming out of there. I'm sure there's some, but they're not on the map as far as when you think of in the scam baiting world. When you talk about scams, you're talking about India, Nigeria, Jamaica. And I'm not saying they don't happen everywhere in the world, but those three seem to be the top three that I'm aware of. So yeah, I find it fascinating that it can happen in these developed places. And I'm not saying Nigeria is 100% fully developed like the United States or India, but the government is making a ton of money, yet there's not a lot of jobs for the younger people. And I think that, not that that's an excuse, but I think it leads to a lot of people that are not working, that if they are okay with hurting people, it's tough for them to get caught in these places because of the corruption.
I agree. A lot of what you see, especially in Nigeria, kind of what helped run this was there was a lot of oil trade that happened too. So there was a lot of corruption around or people, a lot of oil companies that went and bought a lot of the Nigerian oil. And because of that, and because of the corruption that went along with that, you had a lot of that
come through where the oil companies actually taking advantage of the Nigerians. And what they did was they went into like these small tribal areas where people living for thousands of years. They're like, hey, let's go put oil on your land. You can make a lot of money. And they absolutely left it devastated to the point where they were uninhabitable in many cases. So yeah, that's one of the areas that kind of started that, going back in like the 60s and 70s. But with that and with that corruption, that's kind of what tainted the whole system, if you will.
Yeah.
And do you know of any cases where a big time romance scammer was caught that's actually doing a lot of time? I mean, we've talked a little bit about, you know, what we see, and sometimes, and this happens in a lot of places where there's arrests made, there's call centers shut down. That's good for the public. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We don't know if they're paying the police officer $500 American, and the police officer saying, "Oh, it never happened then." And then, or if some of the money each month that the call center brings in is going to the local authorities, which pushes up to the top government. So I'm just wondering if Nigeria knows that this is going on, why do they allow it to happen? And like you said before, we do see them getting caught, but we don't know exactly what's happening. I'm just wondering if there's any case that we can look at and see if somebody's actually doing hard time for scamming somebody out of a lot of money.
Yeah, so I will say is if there's an indictment that comes out from the DOJ, and they actually reference folks here in the United States, more times than not, they're done. I know with Hush Puppy, he's a great case where he had so many victims that I don't know how long he's gonna be going away for, but yeah, he's gonna be going away for a while, is my understanding of that.
Hush Puppy.
So that is good. That is good news then. It is. I mean, they are making some progress here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only other problem is that when it comes to like getting arrested in Nigeria, it's like a 50-50 crapshoot whether or not they're going to go ahead and be arrested, or not arrested, but actually stay with time. Because there's actually, I forget exactly what the law is, but essentially it's like for $1,500 if you're arrested, you can pay your way and get out. And when you're doing scams that are $40, $50, $100,000, like $1,000 is nothing. And again, law enforcement knows this. And again, you have the level of poverty that plays into this. And because of that level of corruption, it now becomes very tempting for that law enforcement officer in order to go and be willing to take that bribe and stuff.
Right. I would agree. I mean, it's the same thing in, certain countries, police officers risking their life and they're making $200 a month. And all of a sudden they have an opportunity to take $500 by looking the other way. They need to feed their family. Not that they're doing the right thing, but they're in that circumstance at that time. And that's kind of like the circle of corruption. The police aren't being paid enough. So, it's a problem on many different levels.
Yep. And you're 100% right. It's something where you need to kind of go and pay your way on that. There was actually a really, really cool, it was on the Soft Toy Underbelly. It was an interview with a corrupt cop, and that's very much what played into it. Was he kind of got started doing that because he's like, I didn't make enough, I needed more money. Really fascinating.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. From I think he was from Atlantic City or my area. I think so. But I saw that interview. Yeah, that was a good one. I love that channel.
Yeah.
So, can people reach out to you? I mean, we know a few people that have been unfortunately taken for money from Nigerians. If we're dealing with anything, and if not, then just going forward, because it might be like a month or two ago. But I mean, can we give them your info and put them in touch with you? Because you can do a lot more to help a victim, both after the fact with, kind of getting healthy because they've been through a lot, or tracking the people down and maybe helping them get some money back. I mean, or you might just say, I don't want to be bothered, I'm too busy. I get that too. Just I want to make sure I'm doing everything we can do for you and the victim.
It's one of those things where I would love to help the victims as much as I can, but unfortunately, it's something where it's a lot more going on. What I do is I do try and create a lot of content around the breathwork to kind of help them calm their bodies down and everything. But I would say the best resources, like I said, IC3, FCC, Secret Service, they're the three primaries right now here in the United States who are doing stuff. And if for the victims, if they're outside the United States, I would say have them look in those other places too. Like I said, I would love to work directly with the victims on many things, everything. But like I said, there is so much going on right now, and and this is unfortunately something I do more on the side too. So it's something where I do have day job that I could do a lot with the scams, but like I said, there is a lot there too. But if you want, I can walk you through some of the breath work so that you guys can know how to do that and calm your bodies down. And the people who are on the live stream or who are watching us later can actually do that too. And they can actually use that to pass it over to the victims too if they ever come across any.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That would be great.
All right, cool. So in terms of breath work, and again, most people don't actually think of the way that they breathe. Every time you breathe in, your heart will actually expand, and any time that you breathe out, your heart will constrict. So every single breath that we take, our heart is constantly moving in and out. And what happens is, for so many of us, we never learned the correct way to breathe. And what happens is a lot of us will be breathing in our chests. We might be breathing through our mouth. We might be breathing, getting winded. But at the end of the day, based on the science, the correct way to breathe is to breathe in through your nose, bring that down to your stomach, and then fill your chest, and then breathe that out. And what that does is that actually expands the diaphragm down the stomach, down toward the pelvic floor. And then when you breathe that out, it kind of helps with that and everything. So the technique that I have been teaching people is, it's actually from the Huberman Labs podcast. That is one of the quickest ways to calm the body down. It's called a cyclic breath. And what it is you will kind of, like how you would notice like something on your desk, you'll notice the spot behind your belly button, and you'll take a big breath in through your stomach and fill your chest up, and you'll fill your lungs up all the way. And then you'll hold it at the top. And then once you hold it for like a second at the top, you'll take one more big sniff in to expand all the way. And then you'll breathe it out like and you'll slowly breathe it out like you're fogging a mirror. So like I said, it will be like and then at the top, one more sniff, and then. So go ahead and try that 3 times and let me know how it feels on your body.
Well, I just did it as you were talking.
Yeah, what about Take, who can hardly breathe because he smokes?
Well, I'm actually smoking a cigarette right now when I'm doing it. But no, I'm just kidding. But I did exactly what you said. I mean, and I kind of know what you're talking about. I just never put it into practice. Breathing is so important, and that's why I thought it was so amazing that you're into that. And I just did it, and you instantly feel relaxed after you take 3 breaths like that, and you're really concentrating on your breath. And I think I did it right. Yeah, I think I was breathing in through my nose and exhaling through my mouth.
Yeah, and if you feel the change, yeah, you did it right. And a lot of what it does is, so many of us are stuck in that constantly nervous, anxious fight or flight response where we're worried that something is going to get to us and everything. And we don't know how to effectively calm that back down to get back to that parasympathetic nervous system where that rests and relax. And that for me was one of the biggest eye openers, because again, being a very anxious individual who deals with a lot of dark stuff, I never knew how to calm my body down. And it was something where, like I said, that was one of the biggest things I had learned, was how to actually do that. And working with the victims and kind of walking them through some of those things, because of everything they have going on, it may be cases where they may be super anxious and worked up for years. And when you walk them through this, it immediately takes them from that sympathetic response, drops them down to that parasympathetic response of that rest and relax, as opposed to being in the fight or flight. And just with the way the physiology of our bodies work, it's how our bodies work. So.
Okay, thanks. So can you just tell, just go through the exercise one more time, if you don't mind?
Oh, yeah. So what you'll do is you'll notice the spot behind your stomach, and you're going to breathe in through your stomach. So your stomach is going to go out a little bit more. And as you bring that breath from the top of your chest down to your stomach, hold on a second. Sorry, coughing. I haven't had enough water yet. So as you breathe in through your stomach, you're going to feel the sensation come up to your chest. and you're going to fully expand and fill your lungs. And as you do that, you're going to fill them up all the way, and then at the top, you're going to take one more sniff in. And what that does is that actually expands the air pockets in your lungs, and then you're gonna like breathe out slowly and fog it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be a good thing
Yeah, so-
I can teach people at the hospital because I do a lot of breathalyzers. And it's very difficult for people, you know.
Yeah, and the other thing
I've
too
seen
you'll notice
motivational
is,
speakers
again,
talk
and you
about
probably
how
notice
to
this
change
working with people who do
your
on
state.
breathalyzers. For them, it's something where they will very much be breathing from their mouth. They may be very anxious and worked up and breathing from that upper part of their chest. But as they go and bring that breath down through their stomach, not only will it calm it down, but a lot of stuff with their organs, their anxieties and stuff will go too. A lot of stuff I've also noticed too, and again, just our own physiology here, we will have a lot of tension that happens behind our ribs and our intercostal muscles. And again, because going back to the body keeps the score, because of a lot of that stuff gets stuck, a lot of those knots happen there, it becomes physically uncomfortable to where we will feel something there and then we become focused on that. And we don't realize that we're focused on that. And it's a matter of changing that focus instead of like being constantly focused on the chest, bring that down to the stomach and being able to change that awareness within the body and realize that no, a lot of your emotions happen in other parts of your body, not just in your chest, but you can notice your feet, you can notice your hand, you can notice your spine. And it's something where, again, most people don't realize that that's how you get reconnected with your body. And for a lot of people, they will actually disassociate to where like you could actually touch their arm and like they may not feel it. They may be able to tell you that you're touching their arm, but when it comes to actually knowing that you're touching this spot, they may be so physically separate from their body that they can't even tell you where that's being touched.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all the information today. Like, I really am going to go back and listen to this again later because it was just so much information. And so important that I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh yeah, happy to help.
Yeah.
Happy to help. And like I said, it's everybody needs to kind of that's like I said, that's the one thing people need to learn is to learn how to breathe. So, but yeah, and also I do have a couple minutes if there are any other questions and stuff in the chats too.
Yeah, is there any other
Yeah,
questions?
there's been a few questions up and down, and I think they kind of coincided with what we asked anyway, but there are a few that we might have missed. Okay. So if someone can just retype them. I think there was the main question I wanted to get before I forgot though was like, we know you're busy and you kind of give us three good options as far as trying to get someone's money back. But now, if we have a lead on a mule, is that something that we could reach out to you, or we shouldn't? Do you want us to follow the other channels?
So I am happy to make introductions with law enforcement on some of that. The problem is with money mules. Some of them are witting, some of them are unwitting, meaning they know what they're doing or they don't know what they're doing. It becomes difficult depending on the nature of that relationship and everything. I am more than happy to pass over and make direct introductions with law enforcement.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Yep.
Any other last minute questions? Hi, Rick. How are you?
Yeah, I was going to say one last thing just because I know I mentioned day job, but yeah, definitely check CoFence out. We do a lot of awareness around email security and training people not to click phishing emails. So yeah, definitely make sure you check work out because they pay me to keep doing this stuff.
What is it? What are
Wait,
you saying?
yeah, say that clearly. We broke up a second.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's I work for a company called CoFence. That's COFENSE. We do a lot of awareness training for like companies to kind of educate them on how to spot phishing emails and stuff like that. So it's something where that's what day job does to help pays me to keep doing stuff like this. So definitely check them out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know with my last company I had, they were constantly sending us like emails, and then if you clicked on them, you had to like take a class or something like about why you shouldn't have clicked it. You know, which is good, but it was a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and that other scam you were mentioning is where somebody contacts somebody through email, like they're the CEO, and we've had cases before. I worked for a large company, and it happened twice where somebody fell victim to it, where they had an email and they thought it was actual the CEO was coming to the area, and it wasn't like they wanted any money wired, but they sent them to get gift cards, and they said, "Give me the numbers, I'll reimburse you when I get back to the when I do the meeting in your store." So scammers are very clever in that they knew the girl's name, they knew the boss's name. We were a very public, big company, and they kind of figured out who the assistant manager was in our particular store, and they got her for $1,500, $500 gift cards.
Yep, and that very much falls into the business email compromise. It's the scammer a different flavor on what the scammers are doing. But yeah, what they'll do is they would usually cash that out on places like Paxful, where you can't do Paxful now because that closed. But it's where they convert those gift cards over to Bitcoin. And in addition to that, I actually had one case I got pulled into where one of those things, while it started as a gift card scam, it eventually turned into crypto and a PayPal scam. And the poor kid who got pulled into it, like he was just trying to impress the boss and everything. It was over $30,000 that he got taken for. So it was absolutely heart-wrenching because, like I said, everything he did, he thought he was doing for the CEO.
That's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was so bad. Like as he was because like I was doing the instant response on it. He would actually text the boss saying, "Yeah, I'm actually out of money. I'm eating like ramen noodles and I'm hungry. Can you give me like $5?" And the scammer just didn't do anything. And the kid was like glaring at the guy in the office and everything. Didn't know what was going. The guy and the CEO didn't know what was going on until it was too late. So,
gosh, how horrible.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we would definitely love to have you back on again in the future. I know we really appreciate your time. We know it's early for you, so thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you can come back again.
Oh yeah, definitely sounds good. Yeah, I'm happy to chat and happy to come on back. So
yeah, and
this was so cool that you did this on short notice.
Yeah, and
awesome, man.
You're
great talking with you.
And I subbed to your channel, so I'm gonna try to be watching some of your stuff today, and I'm gonna go back and listen to this because it was a very great interview packed with a lot of information, so I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh yeah, happy to help, and thanks for having me on. It's like we all gotta work together and come together to get this fixed. So
absolutely, totally agree.
It looks like 26 other people subbed to you too. I mean, you were at 923 or 24. You're over 950 right now. You're not really here for subs, but I think it is important. I've said it before. The more subs you get, the more views your videos will get. You have a wealth of knowledge on your 60-something videos. They need to be seen, and I think just you being with us today, showing the breathing exercises, talking about what you know, people really need to go check out your channel. So I know that there's 75 people watching, and unless you were already subbed him before, please go sub right now. Let's get him to 1,000. Just so we can start getting him in the algorithm more.
Yeah, so
that'd be awesome.
Share it with everyone else because it's a really good information that scambaiters and non-scambaiters can find application with. So please be telling everyone when you're around today talking to the scambaiting family to check him out too, because I really think that it's great information. So thank you so much for joining us, and really hope to have you back on again soon.
Oh yeah, thank you. And also just one more thing with the video. So I know I walked through the breathwork here. I actually have a video that's for the scam baiting community and the practitioners, so that they know like where it goes. I can't physically stand up and show you because I'm on a cell phone, but it's something where I actually walk through and kind of point where you're going to feel it, where to notice it. And I did it's a 6.5 minute video. I also did a 45-minute routine that targets a lot of the stress spots that happen in our body based on some work I've been doing with a musculoskeletal therapist, and some other area and some yoga research and stuff too. So I try and hit several of those areas that a lot of tension and things manifest in the body to help loosen that, to kind of work on calming that down. So, and that content's there too.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I definitely will check that out, especially when I feel like I'm going to scream at a scammer. I'll try to calm down.
Yeah, just remember, always breathe. Always breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you so much. We love you. Thanks for coming by.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Okay, have a great
All right,
day.
later, bro.
Bye.
Yep, y'all too. Bye.
Bye.
I really think that was an awesome interview. So great job getting him at the last minute. You rocked it.
You got lucky on that. You can thank your friend Pecan Head. He knows him.
Oh, I have to thank him.
So-
Dang.
Pecan had told me about him a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned it. I didn't mention his name or anything on our show here because I wasn't sure. But over the weekend, I started to look through Discord, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we got to talk to that guy." So
Yeah.
I took Pecan's word. Pecan said he's a great guy, and he wasn't lying.
Wow. Well, thanks so much
So-
to Rabbit, Mouse, BB, and Betty. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. And if anyone is able, thank you, KDA. I know you gifted us membership. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Bramble. Bramble just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so, so much. And
Why aren't I seeing any?
I don't know. Really appreciate
maybe
it.
I got to refresh. I don't know.
And if anyone's able to join, we really appreciate the support because it just helps us have time to, gives us some extra resources to find guests like this. So really appreciate the support. And we will be back on Thursday. I don't know. We probably won't be able to top that. Thank you so much, Raz. Really appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you all so much. We'll be back on Thursday. Not sure we'll be able to top that interview, but we'll at least have a good time chatting. So maybe calling some scammers. So please join us on Thursday. We will be here. Raz, thank you so much.
Thank you, Raz.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Y'all have a great day, and we will see you then. If you guys need anything during the week, please join my Discord. Say hello. I've been trying to pop in some here and there, so that's a good way to get in touch with us during the week. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on... Wait, is today Thursday? No, today's Tuesday. We will see you guys on Thursday.
Bye.
I was waiting for some, amazing goodbye from you.
I mean, are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. I'm waiting for some amazing goodbye from you, and you were like, bye.
Oh no, I was like, why top that? You had a nice little outro. I don't always have to have the last word, so yeah, let's let it breathe.
Okay.
But yeah, bye.
Bye, y'all.
Love
Have a
y'all.
great day.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Bye.
You're connected with support. How can I help you?
You're picking up the phone pretending that you want to help people, but you really want to rob them.
I want you to understand, legally and federally, I know what type of time waster you are.
Do you want people to empty their bank account?
Why would you waste my precious time?
We call scammers. And man, they say the dumbest stuff.
Go ahead, please.
Hey, do not call this number again.